The person set to lead Rockford Public Schools this summer now receives more time to prepare before officially stepping into the district's leader's top role. Now, Tuesday night, school board members unanimously approved changes to the incoming superintendent Larry Huff's employment agreement. WIFR's Miriam Niesmeyer talks with district leaders and educators about what they hope Huff focuses on moving forward.
Daniel, while talking with one longtime district educator Tuesday night, she says rebuilding trust and addressing staffing shortages remain some of the district's biggest challenges of moving forward. Rockford Public School Board members unanimously approved changes Tuesday night to incoming Superintendent Larry Huff's employment agreement.
We added 5 additional transition days so that he's got some more time to work on some issues that have come up regarding the structure of the district organization.
Board President Paul Carpenter says Huff already started meeting with union leaders, principals, and other district leaders ahead of the upcoming school year.
He's listening to their concerns, and so that's a big part of what he's doing during the transition.
The agreement lays out several goals for Huff once he starts, including improving labor relations, increasing student growth, and creating long-term strategic plans across the district.
That is incredibly important. For me as a member of the REA, we fought long, we fought hard to get our contract approved. So there's a lot of work to be done there in terms of trust, in terms of building bridges. So I hope that will be a focus for him as well.
Elizabeth Ulrich, a longtime educator at Rockford Public School, says she hopes the superintendent focuses on classroom challenges students and educators face every day. She points to chronic truancy and staffing shortages as ongoing concerns.
We can't educate kids that aren't there.
One former parent speaking during public comment also reflected on the importance of long-term leadership and stability inside the district.
When Dr. Huff shows up, he's able to also stick around for that good long time.
Vice President Nicole Bennett says the district plans to create opportunities for families and community members to meet Huff before he officially takes over this summer.
Huff will begin his role as Rockford Public Schools superintendent July 1st. The next school board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, June 2nd.